welcome to the show where it's wrestling with entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm of course your host, James J. Flying solo this week. But it was a good week for Wrestling Wit as we interviewed Dewey Robson on Tuesday, and then Nathan Hope on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews. Definitely go check those out if you haven't already. But always looking to the future. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Grizzly Mac. We talk about his relationship with friend of the show, Holden Albright. They trained together. We talked about his relationship with the royal family, a faction that he was in. We talk about his corn facts and the Sad Boy Violence Club. We talk about giving friendship bracelets to our tag team partners and a lot more. Definitely check that one out on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have Brendan Gosh, also from Canada. We talk about his love for old school wrestling, bringing back the one-handed glove gimmick. Trying to look different than everybody else. We talk about a match with Austin Aries. We talk about a brutal cage match. We talk about golden pants as well. There's a lot to talk about and unpack in that one. Definitely a great conversation with Brendan as well. So definitely go check that one out on Wednesday. And then upcoming, we have Mike Biggs on the 21st, Adonis Allen on the 22nd, Chris Kendricks on the 27th, Dave Jameson on the 28th, and Leslie Lorenzo on the 29th. And then May 6th, we have Luke Powers. So keep in tune with Wrestling Wit for information on all of these interviews. Now that we're done putting ourselves over, we're never done, James. Pity the fool. Here with Mr. T, apparently. It's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And going all the way back to last Monday, CM Punk dropped a pipe bomb promo. Kind of degrading Roman Reigns. I mean, obviously, they're in rivalry right now. Fantastic. Just great, one-upsmanship between, a Punk. Always a master. What caught everybody's eye was, him going after Pat McAfee and, Ari Emanuel, the president of TKO, and asking to lower prices. Whatever you want to believe, these are my personal opinions. I kind of feel like this wasn't just CM Punk speaking on behalf of CM Punk. This was CM Punk speaking on behalf of WWE towards TKO, because I mean there's not a lot of people that could cut that promo and not get in trouble and care about it as well. I mean, Punk, I don't want to say that he's untouchable in a scenario like this, but we all know that he'll be alright if he's not in WWE. So I personally believe that Triple H gave him a mic and told him, say whatever the hell you want, and he did, and, it might actually, did some good for WWE morale to actually hear their voices, mentioned in all of this. That being said, um, Pat McAfee did have a rebuttal the other day on SmackDown. Um, he lowered prices on WrestleMania, but only the night that he's gonna be on there, Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday. So yeah, this is like the weirdest build to a WrestleMania ever. Like, what are we doing? Oh, your WrestleMania isn't selling out because you're on it, and this WrestleMania isn't selling out because you're on it, and WrestleMania is just in general not selling out because tickets are too damn high, and the card is not worth going to. It's so bizarre, and yet here we are. Like, this would have never happened under Vince McMahon, but because we're on Russell WWE is under bigger stooges than Vince. Here we are with a clusterfuck of what the fuck when it comes to the build of our WrestleMania. Like, I really wish that this was just an occurrence and not necessarily a trend with WWE, but this is the second year that they kind of fucked their own WrestleMania. It seems like they're degrading WrestleMania's value in these last 2 years. I might talk about a little bit more about that in the preview of WrestleMania a little later, but let's kind of leave it at that. Um, we are coming up on WrestleMania, and after WrestleMania, there is the night after Mania, which is, known for call ups. Rumored call ups are JC Jane to the beat. Hey, you don't even have to move your feet. Um, Blake Monroe, Sol Ruka, Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, and, Ricky Saints, I should say, and Joe Henry. Um, I feel like Henry is due at this point, and I would absolutely think that the best use of him would be in a tag team with Drew McIntyre. He's the power of positivity, and Drew McIntyre is the power of negativity. So let those two help each other out, and I think that that would be amazing. Um, I think Joe would be okay in WWE. He'll find his way, and he'll do what he needs to get on top. Um, Ethan is Ethan, and I mean he'll carve a path out for himself. Like he knows how to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, no doubt. So I don't really see a problem with him. I see. I would say that Ricky would maybe be best to stay on NXT right now. I don't feel like he has done enough time cooking at this point. I think he needs to cook a little bit more before they draw him on the main roster. Um, his stuff in NXT as of late has kind of been hit or miss. So I don't really want to draw him out onto the deep end until they get something solid underneath him to kind of build upon. Like Ethan and Rick, Ethan and Joe, like they very much know who they are and know how to capitalize on what they have. Think Ricky isn't in that same category. So again, I would give him some more time in NXT to kind of, um, like I said, cook. When it comes to the goals, I mean, Sol Ruka just strapped the rocket onto her ass, put her in the main event. I don't think anybody will have any objections to that. Sol is fantastic at what she does. She has banger matches. Her promos could be a little bit better, but I think that she has enough charisma to carry her, honestly. So I mean, at this point, any roster, SmackDown or Raw that they put her on, she could make it work. Honestly, I think she'll be okay. Blake Monroe. That's a good question. She, it's kind of been hit or miss with Blake, just for the simple fact that when she's in there with people that know what they're doing, she can have bangers and she's good. But when it comes to leading a a rookie or somebody that's green, then it doesn't necessarily go too well for her. She can't necessarily lead well. And we get instances like the Dia Hale incident, or even having like a really sloppy match with Jada Parker as well. So who knows? Maybe actually being on the main roster would do her better, considering all of those girls are seasoned and know what they're doing. So I think that that would be better for her, honestly. And JC, honestly, I wish JC would stay on NXT. She does so well on there, and I feel like she would be lost in the mix if she was to go on her own in um WWE, whether that's Raw and SmackDown. I feel like JC needs somebody to play off of, or somebody to be around in order to strive. Like, I mean, she was in a Toxic Attraction, and when that fizzled out, she was in Fatal Influence. So, I mean, she knows how to work. She knows how to talk, and I gladly say that she had one of the better title runs of 2025, 2026. Like, she wrestled everybody, and it was just a classic, title run, heel title run, and it worked so well. Better than a lot of the other things that we've seen on WWE TV. So, I mean, if you give her an opportunity, she'll run with it. She's kind of like Chelsea Green, if I'm being honest. But you have to actually give her the opportunity. And whether she gets that opportunity, I don't know if they're going to give it to her. Um, it is rumored and innuendoed that Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes will be fighting Pat McAfee and Randy Orton at Backlash. I mean, might as well just do it at WrestleMania. I mean, nobody gives a fuck at this point. Like, they destroyed the main event of WrestleMania. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like Jelly Roll doesn't need to be in that position. Like, mid card, helping guys like Kit and working with Miz. I feel like that works better for him, honestly. Everybody kind of benefits. Um, we don't need, Cody Rhodes being sprinkled with the jelly sauce. that, that sounds so wrong in so many ways. And we don't need Cody sprinkling the stardust on Jelly Roll either. Pat McAfee, I mean, I like the guy. I think that he's a solid, when it comes to promos and, in ring ability, he's solid. But he doesn't need to be there in that position either. So I really wish that they would just kind of move away from all of this and just focus on what the people actually want to see. So it doesn't seem like that's what's happening. It seems like we're leading more towards oh, this match needs celebrities, so we're gonna have celebrities. So I'm not necessarily for it, if I'm being honest. Somebody else that's not for it is Alberto Del Rio, who was arrested for domestic violence. It's not necessarily looking good for him. This is not necessarily something new to him. Like, oh, no, like this is on par for him. It's a trend at this point. Hopefully his wife will get some justice and maybe get away from him, and Alberto will finally be put, you know, to rest at this point. I don't think that's the case because as many as domestic dispute issues as he had in the past, um, Mexico consistently books him. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to derail his career at any point at this point. So, I mean, it is what it is, but maybe some jail time will actually do the guy some good. Probably not, though. Uh, it was announced that there was supposed to be MJF versus Nick Namek at one of I think it was one of the Maple Leaf shows. I don't know where if TNA was a part of the negotiations for that match, but when it was announced, it got shut down pretty fast. They pulled out Nick. So MJF is not wrestling him anymore. Obviously, it's a conflict of interest for TNA because TNA has a working relationship with WWE. Um, if Nick was planning this on his own, um, I feel like it's kind of stupid on his part to know that there's a working relationship with WWE and then accept a match with an AEW wrestler. Um, I think it's kind of dumb of whatever promotion, booked the match in the first place, thinking that he wasn't going to get in trouble for being in a position like that. And no, I understand where MGF is upset about it. It was announced, they were supposed to do the match, but it should have never come to that in the first place. Like whoever dealt with this on the TNA and the Booker standpoint, I feel it was just really dumb, honestly. They should have known better than what they actually was doing. Like the position that TNA's in, the position that AEW's in. Um, Somebody was not on their game on that one. Keeping up with AEW news, Kyle Fletcher, is injured. He's expected to miss a couple of months of action, was stripped of the uh, TNT Championship. Luckily, it doesn't seem like it's that bad of an injury. He'll be back by the ending of the year. But still, I mean, you're building a guy like Kyle Fletcher to be, a mainstay in your company, and then he gets injured. In like a pretty insignificant match against the Rascal. So, I mean, I could criticize AEW for, what they do and the way that they do it, but let's face it, they're not going to change. It just kind of is what it is. So, hopefully he gets better and he can reduce injuries in the future. So all the best to him. Um, Mercedes Monet, um, once held 13 titles, is now titleless. She did a tour to drop all her championships, and by God, she dropped most of them. She I'll give credit where credit is due. I did not think that she was going to go back to any of these promotions. have a second match and actually drop the title to these independent girls. Yet she did. And she had matches, she dropped the titles, new champions were crowned. I only think like one or two of her titles were vacated out of 13. She could not put things together with the promotions to get her in to where she needed to be. No shade on anybody either way. Obviously she had intentions of going back. But yeah. Again, I'll give credit where credit is due. She said, I don't even think she said that she would go back. But she did go back, and she did have extra matches. She did actually drop the titles, so, kudos to, Mercedes. She has integrity. Now, swinging back to WWE news, there's 4 new signees. Um, we got Anya Rune, formerly known as Academia. We'll talk about that in a moment. Valentina Rossi, Notorious Mimi, and Fallon Gray have all been signed to WWE. Academia, friend of the show, first ever interview. We wore her first ever interview, I should say, and we had a follow up a couple of months back. So like, congratulations to Erica for getting contracted by WWE. Don't know about the name Anya Rune, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Anya. She's on Evolve. She's killing it. So, um, honestly, congratulations. Love you, girl. Kill it. Um, I know Valentina Rossi, not necessarily familiar with her as a wrestler, so I can't really speak to her. Notorious Mimi was WWE prior, and then she got released, and now she came back. Um, I don't know how much she's improved that WWE was like, oh, well, we'll give this girl another shot, but I don't know. I feel like if you couldn't make it in the independent, um, the WWE, developmental, then I mean, you're kind of walking backwards at this point. I'm not. If she actually gets onto WWE TV, I'll be shocked. And Fallon Gray, from my neck of the woods, so she's from Arizona, actually. She's actually a pretty good hand, I would say. Very entertaining. She knows how to use her gimmick. I feel like if they give her an opportunity, that she'll actually do pretty well with it. Um, Promo wise, of course. So, we'll see what happens to her. But again, Academia, congratulations. Right. That will conclude our coverage of news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
So, Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0 calorie Energy milkshake. First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE NXT Stand and Deliver review. It took place last Saturday at the in Chesterfield, Missouri, at the factory at the district. Attendance was 1,767. Solid crowd for an NXT event. And I really liked this show. I thought it was really good. Um, that being said, seeing it on YouTube left much to be desired because I didn't watch it live at its first taping. I watched it after it aired, and literally the first thing that I see when I type in NXT Stand and Deliver is Tony D'Angelo as your new heavyweight champion. So I was kind of pissed about that, honestly. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. The pre-show match, Honk and Tonk with Shiloh Hill, EK Prosper, and Ren Sinclair defeated Bart Wright, Lexis King, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, Charlie Dempsey, and Uriah Connors with Ariana Grace. Um, I really called this. Shiloh Hill got the pin in 6 minutes 23 seconds. So, yeah, I was right. Shiloh is their guy right now. But going on to the main card, NXT Women's Championship match. Lola Vice defeated JC Jane and Kendall Gray in 16 minutes 15 seconds. This was a good match. High energy. Kendall is a fucking star. Like, she will go far sooner rather than later. Um, JC looked great. Um, Considering we've seen a lot more of JC in that match than we had expected. And Lola. Lola's the girl. Yeah. Um, like I said, really enjoyed this match. Despite the screen blacking out a couple of times, that kind of took me out, but not enough to actually de-appreciate my value of the match. All around, fantastic effort from all the girls. Um, I would say that this was more of a TNA match for different reasons than TNA stands for when it comes to pro wrestling, but yeah. Let's see. Um, Lola Rice was in the match, 4 stars. Lola Rice won, and we got to see JC Jane was also in the match, 6 stars, and we got to see JC's boob. So 6.5 stars. This was a 6.5 star match. There you go. Eat your heart out, Dave Meltzer. Then we have the Vanity Project, Baylor and Ricky Smokes defeating Los Americanos, Bravo and Rayo Americano in 13 minutes 27 seconds. Fun match, nice match. I don't think anybody expected Los Americanos to actually win the match. Um, it's just so odd that they're heels in WWE but faces in NXT. But I digress. But yeah, um, good energy, had the people into it. 3.5 stars. Sol Ruka defeated Zarya in 13 minutes 7 seconds. Fantastic match, banger. Both girls really showed off. We got to see a better one of Zarya's better matches, but considering she was in there with Soul, you know, that's kind of to be expected. So yeah, I think the wrong person won, but I mean, it only kind of confirms what I've already said multiple times. Zarya Sour Grapes, Zarya Janetti. Um, I don't think she'll be, cut after this, but it's definitely doesn't do her any good to be losing to um, Soul in this, big moment for sure. That being said, again, really good match. Four, 4 stars. We have Miles Bourne defeating Johnny Gargano to retain the NXT North American Championship, 14 minutes, 35 seconds. Um, it was kind of hard to get invested knowing that Johnny had no chance of actually winning the match. Um, I wouldn't say that there was any memorable moments other than the guy from Dark State attacking Miles after the match, but I mean Johnny's still Johnny, and it was still a good match, I would say. So let's say 3 stars. Um, then we have the NXT Women's North American Championship. Tatum Paxley defeated Blake Monroe in 13 minutes 21 seconds. Good match. Both goals really showed off. Did not expect Blake to actually take the L here, but I mean, Tatum is actually doing really well in the position that she's in. And like Soul, she's having banger matches with everybody she's getting in the ring with. So I'd give this another 4 stars. Fatal four-way match for the NXT Championship. Tony D'Angelo defeated Joe Henry, Ricky Saints, and Ethan Page in 16 minutes, 2 seconds. It was hard to get involved in the match considering I knew the finish, and literally I wanted anybody else but Tony D'Angelo to win. Kalika was right. Usually the least likely is usually the likeliest to actually win, and here we are. I don't think he deserved it. I don't think he's a good wrestler. I don't like the gimmick. Um, I will say that he has, polished the gimmick to some degree to make him not look like the biggest complete asshole in the world. Um, but he was definitely not the best wrestler in this match, which kind of tells you that Joe and Ethan are onto better things, as I said in the news portion of the show. But yeah, Tony D'Angelo, new heavyweight champion. Not necessarily a fan of it. Hope he doesn't hold it for long. Um, let's see. Um, well, it was around a 3 star match. A 3.5 star match, I would say. But Tony D'Angelo was in it, and Tony D'Angelo won. So it's the opposite Lola Vice effect. I don't want to give this 2.5, so I'll just leave it at 3. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go 2.5. Kaliko's not here. Let's be a little bit sour grapes. All right. Um, all around solid show. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and thumbs in the middle. I definitely give this show a thumbs up. And that will conclude our coverage of NXT Stand and Deliver. And we are wrestling with AEW Dynasty. Takes place later today in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, at the Rogers Arena. And surprisingly enough, there's only 8 matches on this card. Um, Maybe something was announced on Collision yesterday. I don't know, but that will probably bump it up to 15. Who knows? But let's kind of just review what we already know. Pre-show match: Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. Um, Marina wins. And I just like to say before I do this, not 8 matches, and honestly, it doesn't look like that bad of a card. It actually looks pretty solid. You know, more not there's not a lot of filler, if I'm being honest. It seems like these are all matches that should properly be on this card. Maybe with the exception of one or two, but we'll get into that. We got FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Hardwood with Stokely versus Cope and Cage, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. FTR messed with Edge's wife. They're in Canada once again, so highly doubt Cope and Cage. Uh, Cope and Cage, such a fucking stupid name. Um, Cope and Cage is not going to win this match, so yeah, Cope and Cage for the W. Then we have an AEW Continental Breakfast Championship match: John Moxley versus Will Ospreay. I feel like this is Will Ospreay's match to win. I mean, he came back from a broken freaking neck for revenge on John Moxley, so the revenge tour would make sense that he would get his comeuppance against John Moxley. That being said, John Moxley's on a bit of a good run with this championship, and I highly doubt um, Tony Khan wants to, put a stop to it. So I say Moxley takes the W on this one. Then we have a singles match. If Darby Allin wins, he will receive a future AEW World Championship match: Andrade El Idaho versus Darby Allin. Um, well, I mean, it would make sense for Debbie to actually win, right? And I would think that that would actually be a really good um segue, because if MJF is the champion and Darby Allin is your challenger, Darby is yet to defeat MJF in AEW. So I think it would make a lot of sense for Darby to, when he actually gets a W on MJF, that it's in the biggest way possible for the biggest championship, quite possibly at the biggest show, whether that's all in, all out, all in your ass, all up in your face, all of the alls. So yeah, I think Darby should be taking the W on this one. Then we have an AEW Women's World Championship match to Claw 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 versus Jamie Hayter. Hayter! I don't even remember the last time I've seen Jamie Hayter wrestle. And Claw Claw is actually doing a really good job as the women's champion. So let's go with Claw Claw. Then we have a casino gauntlet match for the vacant AEW TNT Championship. Tomato Ciampa and Russ will be in the match. And then more than a few to be announced as well. I'm gonna go with either Ciampa or Orange Cassidy. I think those would make the most sense. For anybody that doesn't know, Flatshaw got injured, cannot defend the championship no longer. So, yeah. I'm glad that they're just getting it out of the way instead of making like a dumb tournament to crown a new champion. Like, just get the belt on somebody fucking new. Then we have that match where you don't know quite why it's on the card. The Young Fucks, Nick and Matt Jackoff versus Kazuchika Okaya and Kolkutska Take Shitta. Dark Okada and Take a Shit were in a rivalry with each other, but they're still in the family. I feel like after you screw somebody with a screwdriver, that would mean that you would hate each other and want to beat each other up, but I digress. Why they're fighting the Young Bucks, I have no fucking idea. This should be a dynamite match at best. I could not care less who actually wins, but it definitely should be Okada and Tanosuke, because why the fuck should the Young Bucks have a win over Okada? Oh, I got a lot more heated on that than I thought I would. I digress. Then we have Chris Jericho versus Rick Lachey. Again, another match. I'm not sure why this is on the card. I don't think anybody's ever clamored for a Chris Jericho Ricochet match, but I mean it makes sense that Chris Jericho's first match is a paid preview match against Ricochet. Well, not against Ricochet personally, but just his first match is a paid preview match. Make him pay for it, as they say. Why it's Ricochet, I have no fucking idea. But here we are. Whether it's a good match, cease to remain, we shall see. But I don't see where Chris Jericho is not winning this match. Chris Jericho for the W. Then we have the AEW World Championship match, MJF versus Kenny Omega. Funny enough, I don't remember Kenny wrestling MJF before, so this is more of a fresh rivalry. So I'm genuinely curious to see how this goes. I don't think where Kenny wants the championship at this point. I don't think Kenny needs the championship at this point. Um, so I would say, and like I said, I feel like Darby is going to be the one that takes off the championship off MJF. If he doesn't decide to climb another fucking mountain like a dumbass, um, or if he doesn't kill himself before then, which is not out of the realm of possibilities. But yeah, I would say MJF does some little shit tactics to take the W off of Kenny Omega. But I think it would actually be a good match. So, normally I'm not too invested in AEW paid previews. But considering how this one looks, I might be watching it with maybe a bit more enthusiasm than I usually do when it comes to AEW content. Um, Whether we actually have a review of this next week because we're in WrestleMania season, will cease to remain, but we shall see. that will conclude our coverage of AEW Dynasty. And we are wrestling with WWE WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. It takes place next Saturday and Sunday in Paradise, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. We are here. Biggest show of the year for pro wrestling. Honestly, not as big as I thought it could have been or should have been, considering the circumstances. But it kind of is what it is at this point. Um, I said this a little bit earlier, but you know, the way that TKO got involved and muddled the show is simply ridiculous. Um, like seriously, like WrestleMania used to be so prestigious, and they're like fucking it over like that. It's the least important show on the WWE calendar, and I don't know. Maybe when we get to WrestleMania next year, we won't be giving a shit about this show at all. Um, More than likely, considering it's in Saudi. Whether it's still in Saudi, you know, has yet to be seen. But let's get into night one. The undercard, the pre-show as they call it. Um, it's definitely the weaker of the two nights for sure. But let's get into it. Division, Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus ISO Speed, with ISO Speed, I should say, will take on the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and LA Knight. Yeah, not the match I thought LA Knight be in, honestly. I kind of feel bad for him that he's relegated to a gimmick six-man tag match. And honestly, I feel bad for Logan Paul too. I mean, Logan has had some really banger matches at WrestleMania, and he had been featured. And now it feels like they're kind of taking him for granted. So for him to be in this position is kind of sucks, honestly. And I mean, Austin Theory, nobody cares about Austin Theory, so yeah, he's useless. Right, let's get into it. Let's see. LA Knight takes the W off of ISO Sweet. Let's go for it. Then we have an unsanctioned match, Jacob Fuck You versus Drew McIntyre. Considering how brutally Drew McIntyre beat Jacob on Friday, I would say, and considering that there's rumor and innuendo that Drew will be taking time off of WWE after WrestleMania, I would say it would make the most sense for Jacob to actually get the W. But honestly, if you're asking what my heart wants, I would say Drew McIntyre for the W. Then we have the Women's World Championship match, Stephanie McCool versus Liv Morgan. Definitely the most divided for a match on this particular card, I would say. It kind of, I feel like both girls are in a no-win situation where people are gonna be upset one way or the other, whether Stephanie wins or loses. Um, match might not actually take place, considering that lump on Miller's head, but a lot of people seem to be optimistic about it still. Um, I don't know. I feel like people want Liv to have her moment at WrestleMania because she has yet to have it, but I don't think that they're ready to take the belt off of Stephanie. So I'm gonna say Stephanie takes the W. Then we have the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match, AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. I feel like Becky has to win this match, honestly. Like, I mean, AJ has bitched her out more times than none. She needs to kind of take her. She needs to take it back, honestly. She needs to have that moment where she takes out AJ Lee, and I think that moment is here. I mean, how many times can you lose until it actually hurts you? And I think that if she loses this match, it might actually hurt Becky Lynch. So it makes the most sense for Becky Lynch to win. That being said, we said that at Elimination Chamber and she lost. So we have no idea what WWE's logic here is anyway. So again, it feels like it has to be Becky. Uh, then we have the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. The Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Last Legend versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lara Valkyria, and the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki. Honestly, this could go anyway. I don't think the Bellas are going to win. I can see Nia and Lass retaining, and I can see Bayley and Lara kind of finishing their chapter, kind of closing the chapter on this book. Selfishly, I kind of want Bayley and Lara to win. You know, come full circle back to the tag team division where the tag team match that they were supposed to have last year and it got interrupted by, Becky. For them to actually come up and actually win the titles, that would actually be pretty cool. That's what I hope happens. I think the Irresistible Force will retain. Um, then we have Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Quite arguably the biggest question mark. I feel like Gunther needs to win this match. Gunther has not won in 3 years. Gunther did lost to Sami Zayn, and then he lost to Jey Uso last year. So I don't think losing to Gunther hurts Seth Rollins at this point. It kind of furthers Gunther's agenda, honestly, because he wants something from Paul Heyman. So we'll see how that plays out. I could see where people would definitely want Seth to win, but again, I don't see where Seth needs to win this match. Gunther needs to win the match, honestly. So let's go Gunther. Then we have the Undisputed WWE Championship match. If Randy Orton loses, Pat McAfee will leave the WWE business for good. Cody Rhodes defending against Randy Orton. When this match was first announced, I was actually really excited for it, and I was all for it. Yay! Watch Randy Orton get his 15th championship, and abuse Cody Rhodes for a couple of weeks, and torture him. Unfortunately, it hasn't been that. And with the inclusion of Pat McAfee, honestly, it kind of devalued my. It actually turned me off of the match. Like, I don't want to see this match anymore. Mainly because I know it's going to be a clusterfuckery of Gaga where there doesn't necessarily need to be. I mean, you could have Randy Orton cheat, um, you know, and that'll be fine. Like, I don't think a lot of people will care. But having what I'm expecting, which is Gaga with Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee, and who else knows? Like, maybe The Rock will pop up. Who knows? Um, That is what I don't like. Like Randy Orton just like hitting a low blow on his own, nobody else, just the two of them. I don't care. I'll cheer for that. But if this goes the way that I think it's gonna go, I think it's gonna be a worse match than the one last year with John Cena. That being said, I do think Randy Orton is going to capture his 15th championship because I don't think that Pat McAfee is going anywhere anytime soon. Alright, night two. Night two definitely seems like a more solid card, even though there's 6 matches instead of 7. Let's get into it. We got the first match, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, quite arguably the most anticipated match of the whole show, of all each WrestleMania, both nights, both night WrestleManias. This is the most anticipated match. I mean, the way that things is going, I kind of feel like I wouldn't be mad if Oba lost, but I kind of feel like Oba needs to win. Oba, I feel like Oba needs to take the W. I don't think it would hurt him too much if he lost again. Like, you're not. It's not saying a lot that you lost to Brock Lesnar. Like, no, you're not going to get hurt losing to Brock. And it could even make Oba a bigger star if he does lose, because going forward, what does he do afterwards? Does he, um, does he overcome the adversity, so to speak? But I think Brock's gonna be going away after this for a while. Give Oba the W, give him the momentum, and let's see what he does with it. Oba Femi for the W, in my opinion. We have a 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. We have Penta versus Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, DJ McFunko, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio. It's hilarious that Rusev has not been a factor in the show in months, and he's still given a WrestleMania match. Like, what the fuck? He isn't even there to build up the match. Um, I digress. That being said, I was gonna solidly say Penta, but if I had a second pick, I would go with DJ, honestly. I would say that the WWE would give DJ a bit of a comeuppance. I'll give him a little push. But I mean, Penta literally just won the championship a couple months ago. I don't even think a couple months ago, like a couple weeks ago, honestly. So I think Penta might be due just to hold that championship for a bit longer. So Penta gets his WrestleMania moment. Then we have the WWE Women's Championship match, quite arguably the best, build up for a women's match this year, unfortunately. For the main title matches, AJ and Becky was built maybe a bit better, I would say. But between this one and Vicor and Liv, this one was definitely built better. That being said, Rhea Ripley definitely takes the win. Honestly, Rhea, yeah, Jade's had it, hasn't done anything with it, need to get it off of her, and this is the way to do it. Um, and then we have the United States Championship match, Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Really hope that they add Carmelo Hayes to this match. If that would be the case, I would think Carmelo would actually take the W. I begrudgingly say Trick Williams wins the match. And I say begrudgingly because Trick Williams does not need a United States Championship. Trick Williams needs a World Heavyweight Championship. And when we come out of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, I really would like Trick Williams to be going after that championship, in all honesty. Like, if he won King of the Ring and then went to SummerSlam and won the championship, you would have no arguments from me. Like, zero. But obviously, they're playing the long game. Don't think that's the right move. Think that they should pull the trigger while Trick is still hot. Um, but yeah, Trick is going face. More than sure Trick's going face in this match. Sammy's going heel. And Trick is getting the W. So, we'll see. Then we have the Damon, Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. If you told me 1 year ago that this was going to be the match that we had this WrestleMania, I would say, yeah, that's expected. The way that this match has been built, I would not have expected it, weirdly enough. Definitely they took a lot of different routes. That being said, I'm excited to see the Demon. I'm excited to see what Dom does against him. Dom's crushed right now, so I'm thinking Finn Balor takes the W. And then we have the World Heavyweight Championship, the main event, the last match, the thing everybody wants to see. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Quite arguably the best built match of the entire WrestleMania season. And Roman Reigns wasn't even there even half the time. So, yeah. That being said, I do. There's so many ways they could go about it. I mean, we could have interference from the Usos 100%, undoubtedly. But if this is just Roman and Punk, honestly, I think Punk might actually take the win. Punk is there. Punk is going to be there, and Punk will continuously be there. Roman, selfishly, I don't think Roman needs this title, the heavyweight championship anyway. I think Roman is more of a WWE championship guy, and at some point we will see Roman versus Cody again. And we will see Roman Reigns as WWE champion. But we don't need to see Roman Reigns as heavyweight champion. I think CM Punk takes the W on this one. So, CM Punk, still your World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, we'll have a full review of WrestleMania in 2 weeks. Obviously, we'll be recording before the show before the show starts next week. So, yeah. But that will conclude our coverage of WrestleMania, Night 1 and Night 2, and this episode as a whole. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Grizzly Mac, this Wednesday as we interview Brendan Goss, and every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Xthread and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. For Kalika Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.